Hello, everyone. My name is Nadia Marie Johnson, and I am a senior majoring in communication arts with an emphasis in broadcast journalism and media law at Johnson C. Smith University. Today, I will be presenting my research on character portrayals in rap music videos, particularly Black women and their representation in these visuals. Thank you so much for viewing, and I really hope you enjoy. Please stand by while I pull up the presentation. Thank you. Character portrayals in rap music videos. Rap music videos impact Black women's public image, health, and self-concept through harmful themes of colorism, Eurocentrism, over-sexualization, and power roles. Here we're going to analyze the distinction of Black women's image in music video context by two leading Black rap artists from the same musical era, Drake and Kendrick Lamar, in hopes to bring understanding as to how Black women are represented through these music visuals. Some of the topics we're going to cover are colorism, Eurocentrism, and the racially ambiguous takeover, over-sexualization, and power roles. Because as we know, the rap music video industry promotes colorism and Eurocentrism more now than ever. Some of the particular points we're going to cover are Eurocentric beauty standards, minimalization of distinct Afrotypical features, and racially ambiguism itself. In the next few slides, we're going to play video excerpts from a few music videos in particular we're going to break down alongside some research. Please stand by. Our entire conversation is almost around how in certain rap music videos, there's a specific standard of women that are eligible to be the primary video model. For example, in this video that was without sound purposefully, Drake's Over music video, where this lighter skinned model is the primary video model. And in the background, we could see a darker skinned model just doing a dance, some dance, half clothed, and off into the shadows a little bit. But we're going to focus on this lighter skinned model and how exactly she is seen as this angelic being. And it seems as if Drake is singing to her and if the song is almost about her. But when you look at the lyrical context, it's not about either of these women. It's almost about this lifestyle that Drake has taken on. But if we look a little bit deeper, it may be about how women are a part of this lifestyle. This particular model, this lighter skin model, displays the Eurocentric beauty standard itself, literally. The same standard that Conrad of 2009 and Zangathal of 2010 discussed. They investigate the promotion of colorism and Eurocentrism through popular music video platforms like BET, MTV, and VH1. This particular woman is of the Eurocentric beauty standard when she has this lighter skin, this longer hair, this thinner nose, and she can be seen as this angelic, delicate being just standing there. While if you noticed, the darker skin model is in the background, like I said before, half clothed, dancing almost provocatively. It almost questions as to how does one get a chance to be the primary video model? How exactly do you qualify? And this just shows that you have to look a certain way. You have to embody this Eurocentric beauty standard in order to be eligible to even be this primary video model. It's seen consecutively throughout this video that she is not only in this dark shadow and appear to be sung to, but also in a golden context, almost like light is just around her and being shown on her because she is this special person to him in this part of the video. The next video is an excerpt from Kendrick Lamar's Swimming Pool Drank video. And here I want to show how distinct Afrocentric features are minimalized by Eurocentrism, that lighter skin, thinner facial features, and longer hair regarding, other video models, particularly Black video models. Please stand by. As you notice in just a quick second, This video model serves as the transitions of the video between broken glass to her. She is the main point of all of this. Now, just like the Drake Over music video and music itself, the lyricism doesn't necessarily match up. Kendrick Lamar is more so talking about being indulged in alcoholism and having a good time and pouring up a little bit more. But it appears that this woman just has to be a part of these transitions. She just has to be in the video. And not only does she just have to exist in this video, but look at how she embodies the same Eurocentric beauty of standard of beauty that the woman in Drake's Over music video did. You notice that she almost moves into the pool of racially ambiguousm. However, these distinct Afrocentric features are being minimalized. Like, women are not able to be themselves. Women have to look a certain way to be primary video models, even if the music doesn't necessarily cause for video models of this context. They're there and they look a certain way, just like in this video and just like in the previous video. Manriquez of 2017 investigates the lack of representation and replacement of Black women. Black women with certain Afrotypical features are being removed from these type of videos. They're just not being as present as the video models that I've shown in these past two videos. They are seeming to emulate certain phenotypical features that are being praised consistently, and we're seeing this. We're seeing this constant pattern in these music videos. Even if it isn't necessarily called for, this woman is serving as a transition of the music. She's not serving a particular purpose. All she has to do is stand there and look beautiful. She has long hair, she has a thinner nose, lighter skin, all of what we've been discussing about the Eurocentric beauty standard. This next video is an excerpt from Drake's Find Your Love music video. Please stand by. Here, I want to discuss racially ambiguousm, particularly taken up by Fitz of 2008 and as well as Manriquez of 2017. They collectively investigate exactly how there is a plague of racially ambiguousm in the rap music video industry, and it's still, just like the Eurocentric beauty standard, replacing Black women as a whole. This particular video itself features a primary video model who is racially ambiguous. You're not necessarily able to tell exactly what her background is. However, you can notice that the video setting is on an island. What island in particular? Kingston, Jamaica. However, just looking at the video, you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell where they're at. However, you notice that in the background, there are darker skinned Black women who are just having a good time and just enjoying themselves and what may be music playing in the background. However, this primary video model, she is on this island, she is Drake's love interest, and she's different almost. You wouldn't be able to tell exactly what she is. And this goes back to the point of racially ambiguousm. You have a pool of Black women who are featured in this music video. However, they don't get a chance to be the primary video model just as she is. She just looks different than everyone else. And this is the type of conversation that is being had about how racially ambiguousm is taking over in the rap music video industry altogether. Women are looking a certain way and they are embodying these features that make them look so different and stand out purposefully. And this is the type of conclusion that is being made when these consistent patterns are being shown about how racially ambiguousm, Eurocentric beauty standards, and how Afrocentric features are being wiped away from the music industry altogether. Now I want to move over. Just like Drake's over-sexualization can be considered fuel for the attention to the rap music video industry altogether. Similar to Fitz and Pellerin of 2012, they discussed the drive of over-sexualization in the new age of rap music video models. From their features, their model roles, and their trends, I want to provide a brief overview of Fitts of 2008 and Pellerns of 2012 study that discusses the ability of over-sexualization and how they define the video vixens' roles in rap music videos. Features. As I mentioned before, in all three rap music videos, the women looked a certain way. They carried themselves a certain way. Many of them removed the entire Afrotypical features of what studies say are wider nose, darker skin, shorter hair, and even some studies this is being discussed. However, although this is not necessarily true for every Black woman, this is the comparison being made between women who embody the Eurocentric beauty standard versus everyday Black women. The fuller lips, the larger breasts, the rounder butts, all of these are features that are being praised in a way, but they're not being praised on the typical Black woman. They're being praised on women who are embodying the Eurocentric beauty standard, who are embodying racially ambiguism. They're being wiped away from the everyday Black woman, where Black women were once shamed for having these features. They're being brought to the light by other women, and they're being praised and being included in these music videos. These features are Afrotypical. And unfortunately, women who are of darker skin, who are of coarser hair, are not allowed or able to show these features in music videos unless they're being over-sexualized. And that is becoming a problem in the music video industry. When it comes to model roles, there is the classic booty video versus other rap music videos where there's this allocation of responsibility where women are being told to push out these features and being told to embody these features and being told to do certain things in order to be able to be accepted. And just like in the Drake Over music video, this lighter skinned delicate model was seen as the primary video model. However, the darker skinned woman with coarser hair, half dressed with a rounder butt, and in one point in the video, you could see her face where she had fuller lips. They are responsible for over-sexual roles. They are responsible for getting the point across, while other women of Eurocentric beauty standards and other women who remove this entire Afrotypical, phenotypical phenomenon away from, having to do these types of things. There's an allocation of responsibility based on how you look. And it's becoming a trend. It's becoming a part of the status quo of exactly how women are supposed to be presented in music videos. You have the lighter skinned women to continue that delicacy in most music videos. And then you have artists like Kendrick Lamar who present one type of video in this research of swimming pools where this woman is there. But later on in the presentation, you will learn how this narrative is reversed in the same time frame and that this trend is almost broken. And there is a development of pattern if artists continue and continue and continue to allow this status to be necessarily brought to light, where lighter skinned women with these Eurocentric features versus darker skinned women have these particular roles and features where they have certain responsibilities, whereas other women are not able to have those same ones. Here I want to discuss where this is most present, the Drake Over music video. In this particular excerpt, you will be able to see a little bit deeper in detail as to how this over-sexualization is brought to the light. Please stand by. Just from the analyzation of the lyricism, again, this entire song doesn't necessarily talk about two women in a lighter scheme versus a darker scheme, but you see that the darker skinned Black woman with coarser, shorter hair, half dressed, shaking her behind in the background of the video is most present. She is seen to be over-sexualized. This is the over-sexualization that is being discussed in these studies of Pellerin and Fitts. They're talking about how women like herself are being seen as responsible for getting these sexual points across. They're not allowed to be these angelic persons. If the roles were reversed and the lighter skinned woman was in the background and the darker skinned woman was to front, then maybe it will be able to rewrite some of the narratives that we've seen in music videos altogether. However, this is just vivid representation of how darker skinned Black women are treated in music videos. Power roles. So despite featureism, power roles have collectively impacted both sides of the spectrum when it comes to video models in rap music videos. So it doesn't necessarily matter if this is a lighter skinned woman or a darker skinned woman. Power roles have seen to impact Black women in rap music videos altogether. And I want to take a moment in this particular part of the research to shine light on the experiences of both lighter skinned women with Eurocentric beauty standards to darker skinned women with the natural Afrocentric features. I want to discuss how researchers like Chung of 2007, Fitts of 2008, and Love of 2012 are explaining the display of power roles in rap music videos and how they are affecting the perspective of men towards these women. I'm aiming to provide a brief overview of this research and discuss collectively how there's misogynism in this particular light and how women's image is being impacted, and even when it comes to their self-concept and worldview altogether. So we're going to be covering the topics of ego stroking responsibilities, the disguised power toolkit, and how the world is viewing Black women altogether from these harmful themes. So please stand by as I play a excerpt from Ply's video of his music, Shawty. From this video alone, you are able to see the ego stroking placement, the disguised power toolkit of money, materialism, and possible recognition in the industry. You just see how a woman went from her home being foreclosed to Plies coming in and saving the day by offering her money and materialism. But as the video concludes, you can almost see where Plies is saying, okay, well, I'm giving you these things, but you're going to have to do something for me in return. And a lot of times in these videos, and later on in this video, altogether, you will notice that a sexual favor is being returned in order to get these things, a part of the disguised power toolkit, how women are profiting from the ability to save themselves from whatever situation they're in. Later on in this video in particular, I will say that a woman goes from being a dishwasher at a restaurant, and Plies does the same thing. He comes in with a whole bunch of money and shows it to the woman and says, well, here, this is what will happen if you do so-and-so for me. This type of disgusting behavior, if we may say that, is an impact on the perception, worldview, how Black women are being perceived by people. They're seen as greedy, needy, and unstable, because why are you doing all of these different things to be able to obtain this power yourself, this money, this materialism, this recognition in the industry, so that you can further yourself, so that you can make something out of yourself by being sexualized? This is what the world is viewing Black women as when they're consistently seen in these videos. This glorification, this display of the unattainable status, and this access to the hottest women are harming the image of Black women altogether. And studies in my research have shown that Black women have felt that Black women from an adolescent have felt that they need to do all of these different things in order to reach this status, in order to get money, in order to do materialism. It has even been said in certain studies in particular from like researchers like Fitts and Pellerin of 2012 that women are seeing these things in visual context and going to do them themselves. And it has sparked so much controversy as to how Black women from adolescence grow to view themselves just based on this alone. I want to move on to the impact of Black video model representation on men in particular. Just like I mentioned before, Black women perceiving themselves through these videos as greedy, unstable, and needy. And when men are consistently seeing these themes in their artists' favorite videos, unfortunately, these harmful narratives are being reinforced, and men are expecting to treat women just like this because of how they're being seen in videos. And it's heavily affecting men and how they view women altogether, how they're respecting women, how they see women, and it's reinforcing harmful narratives altogether. I believe that if there is a change in how Black women are being represented, men will take on this new idea of how to treat women altogether. And it may improve the way Black women are seen in this particular light. The next section I want to take on is my research. As I mentioned before, I analyzed 4 music videos: Drake, Over, Drake, Find Your Love, Kendrick Lamar's Swimming Pool Strength, and Kendrick Lamar's Poetic Justice. And I want to do a comparative analysis of what I found from all of the music videos. The first music video being Over from Drake. As you can see in just some of these photos, that there is a lighter skinned woman who embodies the Eurocentric beauty standard, and she is seen as this angelic being, whereas you will have on the bottom a darker skinned Black woman who is half clothed, who is shaking her behind in the camera. She has shorter, coarser hair, and her face is barely even seen in the video, but she's responsible. She's responsible for making the video sexual, even though the lyricism that matches with the Over music video doesn't necessarily even call for this. And as I mentioned, Drake is more talking about his unattainable status now that he's reached this top artistry and how he's almost untouchable. And I see that this untouchableness is accompanied by having a main chick who is someone he's longing for, even with this attainable status, and this dark lifestyle where the darker skinned Black woman is seen as something of his past, something of when he wants to get down and dirty. These are the type of women that he's going to call. And I would like to say that particularly this video, compared to the Find Your Love video, definitely reinforces some of those harmful narratives that were mentioned before, and how darker skinned women are not receiving the respect that they deserve in videos altogether, particularly rap music videos. I want to move on to Kendrick Lamar's Swimming Pool Drink. And unfortunately, as I mentioned before, there weren't many parts of the video where this model on the left was being shown. She was just seen as a transition from broken glass to people falling out of nowhere while indulging in alcoholism. She was just seen as this being necessary for making the video look good. She didn't really serve a purpose because the lyricism that matches along with this video does not necessarily talk about women in particular being this sexy being. It's more talking about of having a good time in alcoholism. And I'm pretty sure, just like with the Drake Over music video, women are a part of making this come true. But I talked about particularly that the distinct archetypical features of being wiped from music videos. Women, darker skinned Black women who are all of Afrocentrism are not allowed to be primary video models for this type of work. All this woman had to do was stand and look beautiful in different scenes of the video, even though this video had nothing to do with a love interest, nothing to do with a woman that is supposed to be a part of this alcoholic journey. She's just there to make the video look good. She just models. She's just there. Black women, darker skinned Black women, are not being allowed to be just there. And you saw it present in the Drake Over music video. The Find Your Love music video by Drake, once again, does not necessarily reinforce harmful narratives altogether. However, it does show how darker skinned Black women can exist in spaces where they're not being over sexualized. But it also reinforces that darker skinned Black women cannot embody the main primary video model. Even if a video is being shot in an area where a lot of these women are most present, the primary video model is a racially ambiguous being. She's beautiful. She's just almost what they call exotic in most research. And she is the love interest, and she turns out to be someone who is not necessarily on Drake's side in the end. And it just shows how Black women can exist in spaces and not be over sexualized, but they also cannot necessarily be the primary video model. And Drake has not necessarily shown, from my research, that he is willing to put darker skinned Black women at the forefront of videos to get points across altogether. In this particular music video, Poetic Justice by Kendrick Lamar, he challenges the narrative that he once had that darker skinned Black women are not necessarily the primary video type, even if they're just standing there being beautiful. But that is all challenged when a dark skinned model herself, Brittany Sky, is being seen as just that in the video, except this time she's a love interest. I found this to be very interesting from Kendrick Lamar's work that I studied in the beginning, that Poetic Justice allows this dark-skinned Black woman to be something that is desirable and not over-sexualized in any way. She's fully clothed. She's just standing there being sung to. They're talking about this freedom, this ability to have liberation like no other. This Black woman is allowed to stand in this space and not have to endure any type of over-sexualism, having to endure anything where she's seen as greedy, needy, no money is involved. This woman is just existing in her own beauty, in her own way. And this is how Kendrick Lamar was able to beat Drake in a way when it comes to the positive representation of Black women in his music visual context. He's allowed to show that Black women don't necessarily have to be the ones that are doing the dirty work, who are doing anything. And even then, Kendrick Lamar is not reversing roles. He's not allowing lighter skinned women who embody the Eurocentric beauty standard to be in the background doing anything. This was just a love song and something particularly dedicated to a woman, and lovably, it just so happened to be a dark-skinned woman, something that wasn't very present in my earlier research with the swimming pool shrink video, where darker-skinned Black women are not being torn down, they're not being degraded. However, one is not chosen to be the primary video model, which comes back down to artistic directory, with the what was called for. You have to also start to consider whether people were cast for these roles and they didn't come through. And in the particular Poetic Justice video, that actually did happen, where Brittany Sky was actually casted by Kendrick Lamar when one model didn't necessarily show up. And I believe the woman actually had to be lighter skinned, but when you're looking at it from a viewer standpoint, you're not necessarily understanding all of that information just by looking at the video. However, you are able to see a darker skinned woman being presented positively in a music video for the first time in all of this research. In conclusion, all of the same points of Black women being represented in music videos has its ups and downs. We have the artist Drake, who doesn't positively represent darker skinned Black women in his videos, but we have Kendrick Lamar, who reverses the narrative and shows that a darker skinned Black woman is able to be positively represented all around and doesn't have to be degraded in the own sense. We have Drake, who shows signs of degradation, and we have Kendrick Lamar, who shows signs of desirability even in her own natural beauty, doing everything from start to finish of her being the love interest of this music video, particularly Poetic Justice. Altogether, I just want to reinforce my main point that rap music videos impact Black women's public image, health, and self-concept through harmful themes of colorism, Eurocentrism, over-sexualization, and power roles. Researchers in my study have found that Black women have seen themselves as less desirable when they see constant patterns in music videos that they tend to enjoy, like Drake's. But then they, change that idea when they see Beyonce doing whole albums praising dark skin, praising women of coarser hair, darker skinned women with coarser hair types, or Black women with coarser hair types. They see a change in representation, and it starts to change some of those narratives that have been spewed by artists like Drake himself. The self-concept, seeing themselves of having to do these things to be desirable. If they're being seen as greedy, needy, unstable, what do they have to do to change their concept? These are some of the main points that I found in my research that have helped me come to the conclusion that it is a responsibility of artists and artistic directors to change these narratives of how Black women are being viewed in rap music videos, because they're not understanding that their public image, their health, and their self-concept are being affected when these harmful things are being spewed. And it's a responsibility, an indirect responsibility that they have to do this type of work. And I understand that a lot of times things are out of control, and in the limitations of the research, it is important to highlight that although this is being done, there is a part where viewers are not able to see whether models are showing up for roles. Are they being compliant? Are they doing what they need to do? And are they having to make this sudden change in who will be the primary video model, who will be in the background, where will this be shot at? These are the things that future research will have to look a little bit deeper into to be able to make conclusions altogether. However, my main point, my findings are that artists are in complete control of how Black women are being represented and can help change the downfall of their health, the shadiness of their self-concept. These can be changed if there's an improvement of how Black women are represented in music videos. That is my presentation. I would like to share some of my references. Thank you so much for viewing. I really hope that by the end of this presentation, you are able to understand that Black women's image is in the hands of artists from Beyonce to Drake to Lil Wayne to Kendrick Lamar to some of the newer artists like Blueface. Everyone has the ability to change the narrative of how Black women have been represented from the beginning of time of rap music videos to what the future holds. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate you reviewing.